All right, today we are doing the Finance Park lesson on budget. I want you to go to page 67. The first thing we are going to look at is needs versus wants. Needs are goods or services that you cannot live without, such as food, water, clothing, and shelter. Um, what are things that, again, are going to satisfy your needs? The next thing is wants, goods or services that make you feel more comfortable or content, but are not essential for survival. So we are going to think about our needs and wants on page 68. So things to think about is you need water, but do you need the most expensive bottle of water? You need food, but do you need a bag of potato chips? Or you need clothing, do you need a designer jacket or just a jacket? So on page 68, I want you to take a minute, pause the video, and write down a couple of needs and wants that you have. After you do this, you may start the video again. All right, so now we want to think about what is important to you. What goals do you have? And do your goals reflect what is important to you? And we want you to think about your future. So in our goal setting, I want you to think about what does money do for you in your goals. So is it a long-term goal? Is it over a year or further? Or is it short-term? Or is it a month, couple months goal? How does money play a part in that? How do you need to be saving money for your goal? Can it be accomplished again in a short term or a long term period? And then what are steps that you're going to take to get to your goal? So on page 69, I want you to write down what your goal is and then how money plays a role on that, how you need to be saving money, and what are steps to get to your goal. So again, pause the video, write down your goal. When you're done, you may start the video up again. Okay, so now we want to think about how we spend our money. So spending money we call expenditures. It's spent on goods or services or bills. Impulse buying, we'll talk about it. It's making a purchase based on an immediate want due to some sort of pressure for advertising. We have long-term goals, again, more than a year, and short-term, accomplished within 3 months to a year. So it's hard to make decisions to reach your goals sometimes, like what we talked about the other day, opportunity costs, where you might have to make a decision what you want to do. Also think about your needs and your wants. Are there things that you want but don't necessarily need that you can save your money for? So again, how can you spend your money and save your money to meet your future goals? Think about, is it necessary to sustain you, house you, or cover you, or is it a luxury? Can you manage without it? We're going to talk about impulse buying. Impulse buying is a way for stores to get you to buy things that you don't necessarily need. Things like store layout, advertising, and pricing promotions and product demonstrations help create this impulse buying. So on page 70, there is a space for you to write down different tactics used by retailers that encourage impulse purchases. So I want you to do that right now, and then pause the video, and when you're done, you can start the video back up again. All right, so you should have written down a couple of things. For advertising, maybe it's using celebrities or someone famous in the product, showing the product, or maybe it's a jingle, a catchy tune. Pricing promotions might be something like 50% off or buy one, get one free. The store layout, maybe having you walk to the very back to get things that you need, so you're passing by other things that you want along the way. Maybe it's putting out all the candy and food at the register so that you want to buy it while you're checking out. Product demonstrations might be something like the before and after shots, or giving you giving you a snapshot into what it could look like, what you might look like, what the product might do if you buy it. So again, being able to see what happens when you buy that product. So these are all things that cause you to impulse buy, which are good to be aware of so that you can think of not spending your money if you feel like it might be an impulse buy. So impulse buying, knowing impulse buying will help us figure out our budget. Again, how we are spending our money, what we can spend our money on, and then the discretionary income, what we have left over after we spend what we need to for our bills, our other needs. So a budget we are going to look at is a record of income and expenditures. So what you're getting paid and then how you're spending that money. A plan for managing your money. A tool or to track your saving and spending. And we're going to look at how we budget as your family budgets in your house. So you have the family household expenses, and here are two examples. Transportation, which is a broad category, and then within transportation you would pay gas, maybe bus fare, parking, car payment, clothing. From here, your clothing you spend money on, shirts, pants, shoes, etc. So I want you to think of a couple other broad categories to put in this inner circle. And in the outer circle, specifically, what are you spending that money on for those items, for those categories? Again, pause the video, take a moment to fill that out, and when you are ready, you can come back and start the video again. All right, so other items that you may have had might be electronics, cell phone, TV, computer, bills. You might have, water, gas, trash, taxes, so forth. So sports might be one, so a bunch of different budgeting categories you could have. On average, here is a layout of what a family spends, and you notice that entertainment, clothing, and cash are at the very bottom of this. So really, there's not a lot of money allocated for that after you do all the other things that you need to pay for in your house. So to create a budget, we want to think about our net monthly income. The net income is what we get, the amount of money we get after taxes are taken out. So it's not our gross income, it's what we're actually taking home. Then we categorize our expenditures, so how are we spending our money? Then we distribute funds, so allocate the amount of money needed for those, and then we can determine how much discretionary income we have, how much money do we have left over to spend on something we might enjoy doing. So we're going to look at Caleb's budget here. I want you to read through Caleb's budget. Notice that he's got a gross income of $608, and then he takes home, so that's his net pay, $501.64, in addition to earning $40 a month. So both of those together can be included in that net pay. So next paragraph, we look at what he has to pay monthly and then some other things that he wants to do. So read through Caleb's budget, and then I want you to answer the questions on page 73 that go along with Caleb's budget. After you do this, you may start the video up again to continue on with the lesson. All right, so let's go through some of these answers here. Caleb's net income is $541.64. Monthly expenses, $205. Left over after monthly expenses, $336.64. His short-term goal is Six Flags. Long-term goal is college. After his Six Flags, he'll have $201.64 left. And if he wants to save each month for the next 4 months for Christmas, he would have to save $50 a month. So looking at that, you can read through his budget here, and after his Six Flags, he would have $71.64 left. So then you can think about how much money that he should put into savings to reach his long-term goal. That is up to you. It might be, $20, might be $50. You might say all of it. Again, that's how much money, again, do you think would be good for him to put into savings so that he could reach his long-term goal? All right, so the last thing we're going to look at here is budgeting your time, which is on page 74. So I want you to look at how you budget your time. What are your short-term goals and what are your long-term goals? How is your time being budgeted to meet those, knowing that you have to do things like school and sleep and eat. You might have practices for sports or music or drama. You might have homework time. Hopefully, you have some homework time, studying time in there. After doing all that, how much discretionary time do you have left? And fill in that pie chart to see how are you budgeting your time. Okay, so take a second to do that, a couple minutes, and then start the video back up when you are completed. All right, so you should have filled out your pie chart, and maybe you noticed that you're spending a lot of time in front of the TV or on social media when you're not spending a whole lot of time maybe practicing something you want to get better at or studying. So looking at where can you carve out some of the time doing things that you don't need to do to help reach your short-term and long-term goals for things that you really want to be doing. So make sure that you're looking at that pie chart to really help you figure out how to best budget and manage your time. And other than that, you are done with the lesson 4 for Finance Park. And you can close the book, and if you have the extra time, you can work on the classwork assignment that has been posted to Google Classroom under the classwork tab. All right, have a wonderful Thanksgiving break. See y'all after. Bye.